Ever wondered why you make spontaneous purchases or why some ads seem to get under your skin? Here's a jaw-dropping fact. Studies show that up to 95% of consumer decisions are made subconsciously. That's right. Your brain is making choices without you even realizing it. In this video, we'll peel back the layers of behavioral psychology to reveal 12 surprising insights that can transform how you market your products. We're diving into the hidden forces driving consumer behavior, from emotional triggers that make you click "buy now" to the clever pricing strategies that make you think you're scoring a deal. Ready to uncover the psychology behind why we buy and how you can use these insights to boost your marketing game? Stay tuned as we explore the secrets that could turn your campaigns from ordinary to extraordinary. Chapter 1. The Power of the Subconscious. How hidden desires shape consumer choices. Understanding the subconscious is crucial for marketers. Did you know that up to 95% of purchasing decisions are made by the subconscious mind? This insight comes from Gerald Zaltman, a Harvard Business School professor. He highlights that people aren't always aware of what drives their choices. Our brains are wired to make decisions quickly, often bypassing conscious thought. So, how can marketers tap into this? Start by focusing on the underlying desires of your target audience. For example, luxury brands often emphasize status and exclusivity. They're not just selling a product, they're selling an image, a lifestyle. This approach taps into deep-seated desires for social recognition and belonging. One fascinating tactic is to use color psychology. Colors can trigger emotions and associations within seconds. For instance, blue is often associated with trust and calmness, which is why many financial institutions use it in their branding. By understanding these subtle cues, marketers can craft messages that resonate on a deeper, subconscious level. Chapter 2. Emotional Triggers. Leveraging feelings to influence purchasing decisions. Emotions are powerful drivers of consumer behavior. In fact, research by Antonio Damasio, a neuroscientist, shows that emotions play a critical role in decision-making. Without emotions, decisions become almost impossible. Marketers can use this to their advantage by creating campaigns that evoke specific feelings. Take Coca-Cola's Share a Coke campaign. It personalized the product by printing names on bottles, which triggered feelings of joy and belonging. This emotional connection led to a significant increase in sales, proving that when consumers feel something, they are more likely to buy. Another strategy is to use nostalgia. Nostalgia marketing taps into positive memories from the past, making people feel good and, in turn, more likely to make a purchase. A study from the Journal of Consumer Research found that nostalgia can increase the willingness to pay for products. By reminding people of the good old days, brands can create a strong emotional bond that drives sales. For more great content, hit subscribe and never miss a video. Chapter 3. Scarcity and Urgency. The psychology behind limited time offers. Scarcity is a powerful motivator. The fear of missing out, FOMO, can drive consumers to act quickly. A classic example is the limited time offer. When people believe that an opportunity is rare or fleeting, they are more likely to take action. This concept is backed by the scarcity principle, a psychological theory introduced by Robert Cialdini. He found that people place a higher value on items that are scarce. For example, when a product is labeled as limited edition, it often sells out faster. It's not just about the product, it's about the perceived value. Urgency works similarly. Flash sales and countdown timers can create a sense of urgency that pushes consumers to make quick decisions. According to a study by the University of Toronto, urgent messages can increase sales by up to 300%. By combining scarcity with urgency, marketers can create a powerful psychological push that compels consumers to buy now rather than later. Chapter 4. Social Proof and Herd Mentality. How popularity sways buyer behavior. Humans are social creatures, and our decisions are often influenced by others. This is where social proof comes into play. When we see others using a product or service, we're more likely to try it ourselves. This is why customer reviews and testimonials are so effective. In fact, 92% of consumers trust recommendations from friends and family over any other type of advertising, according to Nielsen. But it's not just about personal recommendations. Seeing a product with thousands of positive reviews or a high star rating can also tip the scales in its favor. Social proof also taps into the herd mentality. We tend to follow the crowd, especially when we're unsure of what decision to make. A study by the University of Pennsylvania found that products with more reviews tend to sell better, even if the reviews are mixed. This shows that the mere appearance of popularity can be enough to sway consumer decisions. Chapter 5. Anchoring and Pricing Strategies. The Art of Perceived Value. When it comes to pricing, first impressions matter a lot. The concept of anchoring plays a significant role here. Anchoring is a cognitive bias where people rely heavily on the first piece of information they receive. For marketers, this means the first price a customer sees can set the tone for how they perceive value. Consider this. When a product is listed at $100 but is on sale for $50, that $100 acts as an anchor. The $50 price now feels like a great deal, even if the actual value hasn't changed. This strategy is common in retail and can significantly increase sales. Dan Ariely, a behavioral economist, explains in his book Predictably Irrational that consumers are often irrational in how they evaluate prices, heavily influenced by the initial anchor. Another strategy is tiered pricing, offering 3 versions of a product, basic, standard, and premium, can steer customers toward the middle option, which is often the most profitable. This is known as the decoy effect. The high-priced premium option makes the standard option look like a good deal, even if it's more expensive than the basic one. It's a subtle way to increase perceived value and encourage higher spending. Chapter 6. Cognitive Dissonance. Turning buyer's remorse into brand loyalty. We've all experienced buyer's remorse, that nagging feeling after making a purchase. But for marketers, cognitive dissonance presents both a challenge and an opportunity. Cognitive dissonance occurs when there's a conflict between what someone believes and what they do. After a purchase, if a consumer feels they made the wrong choice, dissonance kicks in. However, marketers can help alleviate this by reinforcing the decision. One way to do this is through post-purchase communication. Sending a thank you email or offering additional tips on how to use the product can reassure the buyer that they made the right choice. This reduces dissonance and can even turn that initial doubt into brand loyalty. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that when companies follow up with customers and affirm their purchase decisions, customer satisfaction and repeat purchase rates increase. Marketers can also offer guarantees or easy returns to reduce the perceived risk. When consumers know they have a safety net, they're more likely to feel confident in their purchase, which lessens the chance of buyer's remorse. Chapter 7. The Power of Stories. How Narratives Drive Consumer Engagement. Humans are wired for stories. From ancient myths to modern movies, stories capture our attention and help us make sense of the world. Marketers who harness the power of storytelling can create deeper connections with their audience. A well-told story can make a product or brand more relatable, memorable, and emotionally engaging. Consider Apple's iconic Think Different campaign. It didn't just advertise computers. It told a story about creativity, innovation, and challenging the status quo. This narrative resonated with consumers on a personal level, helping Apple build a loyal customer base. In fact, according to research by Stanford University, stories are up to 22 times more memorable than facts alone. But it's not just about big brands. Even small businesses can use storytelling effectively. Share the story behind your product, the challenges you overcame, or the people who inspire you. This makes your brand more authentic and relatable. When consumers see themselves in your story, they're more likely to engage with your brand and become loyal customers. Chapter 8. The Halo Effect. Why first impressions matter more than you think. First impressions are powerful, and in marketing they can make or break a brand. The halo effect is a cognitive bias where our overall impression of something influences our thoughts about its specific traits. If a consumer has a positive first impression of a product, they're likely to overlook its flaws and view it more favorably. For instance, if a product has sleek, high-quality packaging, consumers might assume the product inside is of high quality as well. This is why unboxing experiences have become so popular in recent years. A study by .com Distribution found that 40% of consumers are more likely to make repeat purchases from a brand that offers premium packaging. The halo effect also extends to branding. When a brand is associated with positive qualities, like being eco-friendly or socially responsible, consumers may generalize these qualities to all the brand's products. This can enhance brand loyalty and increase sales. Marketers should focus on creating a strong, positive first impression, whether it's through packaging, customer service, or the brand's public image. Chapter 9. Choice Overload. Simplifying options to boost sales. Too many choices can overwhelm consumers. This phenomenon, known as choice overload, can lead to decision paralysis, where people end up not making any choice at all. Barry Schwartz, in his book The Paradox of Choice, highlights that while having options is generally good, too many can be counterproductive. Marketers can combat choice overload by curating selections and simplifying the decision-making process. For example, when Procter & Gamble reduced the number of Head & Shoulders varieties from 26 to 15, they saw a 10% increase in sales. This shows that sometimes less is more. Another strategy is to guide consumers towards a decision by highlighting a most popular or best value option. This not only eases the decision-making process, but also nudges consumers toward the choice you want them to make. Offering a limited set of high-quality options can enhance customer satisfaction and increase the likelihood of a purchase. Chapter 10. The Decoy Effect. How irrelevant options guide consumer choices. The decoy effect is a fascinating pricing strategy that can subtly influence consumer behavior. It occurs when an extra option, called a decoy, makes another choice look more attractive. This effect is rooted in how our brains process comparative information. Here's a classic example. If a small coffee costs $3, a large one $7, and a medium one $6.50, most people will go for the large. The medium option acts as a decoy, making the large seem like a much better deal. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely explains this concept in his book Predictably Irrational, showing how adding a decoy option can steer consumers towards a specific choice. Marketers can use this effect to their advantage by carefully designing product offerings. The key is to present the decoy in a way that clearly favors the higher margin option. This strategy not only increases sales but also enhances perceived value, making consumers feel like they're getting a better deal. Chapter 11. Priming and Framing. Subtle cues that shape consumer perceptions. Priming is all about setting the stage. It's a psychological technique where exposure to one stimulus influences how people respond to subsequent stimuli. Marketers can use priming to create associations in consumers' minds, subtly guiding their behavior without them realizing it. For example, research published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that when grocery stores played French music, sales of French wine increased. This shows how subtle cues can prime consumers to make certain choices. By carefully choosing the words, images, and even music in your marketing, you can create the right context for consumers to choose your product. Framing is closely related. It's about how information is presented. For instance, saying a product is 90% fat-free is more appealing than saying it has 10% fat, even though both are true. A study by the Journal of Economic Psychology found that positive framing significantly influences consumer preferences. Marketers can use framing to highlight the benefits of their products in a way that resonates with consumers, leading to higher conversion rates. Chapter 12. The Endowment Effect. Why ownership increases value perception. The endowment effect is a powerful psychological principle where people place a higher value on things they own. Once a consumer owns a product, even temporarily, it becomes more valuable to them. This effect is so strong that people are often willing to pay more to keep something than they would pay to acquire it in the first place. A study conducted by Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman and his colleagues found that people demanded twice as much money to part with a mug they were given than they were willing to pay to acquire it. This has profound implications for marketers. Offering free trials or allowing customers to personalize products can create a sense of ownership, making them more likely to buy. One practical application is the use of try before you buy strategies. Companies like Warby Parker and Casper allow customers to try products at home before committing to a purchase. This tactic leverages the endowment effect, as consumers start to see the product as theirs, increasing the likelihood of a sale. By encouraging consumers to feel a sense of ownership, even before they've bought anything, marketers can significantly boost conversion rates. Subscribe and ring the bell to be the first to know when we post new content.